What's up, guys? I'm Lawrence. Online, you may know me as One Syrian. And this is Coding Paths. So the purpose of this channel is really simple, and it's right there in the title, right? We want to share with people some of the different paths that you can take to enter this technology world, this world of software development, coding, programming, what have you, and help to further dispel the myth that there is one path, one way, and it's really narrow, and if you don't fit into a certain mold, like you'll never make it. I think there's tons and tons of people now who are proving it's not true, and I want to just add to that fire. Just want to throw some more evidence on it. I've lived that myself. I'm actually still in a learning process with some others who are very motivated to do career changes. They're already successful in their careers, but they are interested in doing something different, and they're following a non-traditional path. And today, the non-traditional path is becoming more and more accepted. So that's pretty cool. So that's the purpose of this channel. And for this first video, I want to talk about my own path. And in future videos, we'll talk about other paths that you can take. We may interview some folks. There's a lot of directions we may go with this. But yeah, coding paths. So you're asking the question, One Syrian, what was your path? How did you get into this world of technology? Glad you asked. There's a long version to that answer, and there's a short version. I'm gonna give you all the short version, because the long version you need to sit down, and I need to sit down, have some coffee or something, and talk it out. But the short version is, I was a career restaurant manager, fast food, casual, fine dining, did a ton of stuff on campus dining. That was about 7-8 years doing different campus dining, and doing a good job at it. I actually got started in it without my degree. I got my degree later, but it was just a kind of a general business degree, so it didn't do a lot for my career. It was more so to be consistent with the things that I was teaching my children. The restaurant career was good for me, but there came a time when it felt like too much was too much, and definitely was missing family and friends and opportunities and key dates in my children's lives, things like that. And I needed a way out. I needed an exit. So if you've heard the phrase exchanging time for money, I was definitely exchanging time for money. And in order to get more money, I would need to exchange more time. Well, I wasn't willing to do that. And so I began a little journey of self-teaching. And what you find out after a while is even people with traditional, all right, so let's backtrack. Traditional means to get into a software development position involves getting a Bachelor of Science degree at the minimum in computer science, electrical engineering, software engineering. That's pretty much the traditional path. You come out, you get your internships while you're going through undergrad, your summer internships. Well, for a lot of folks, either A, the opportunity wasn't there, B, in my case, I actually had the opportunity when I was young and I blew it. Total transparency here. That's part of the longer story version. We're not going to do that today. That'll be another time. Or just, time passed by. Sometimes people have plans, things go awry. Maybe they had to do, things dealing with family or military service, what have you. And the next thing you know, they're not 18, 19, 20. They're 30, they're 40 or older, which was my case. And it's like, wow, well, what am I going to do now? I want to get into this stuff. I'm interested in it. Fascinated with technology. I like solving problems. I like tinkering with things, right? I like being on my computer. How am I going to get into this industry? And so self-teaching is emerging more and more as a way to get into the industry. So I went through every imaginable resource to the point of it could be considered resource hell. And I would switch platforms, go to a new platform, and start from square one. Or square zero, if you will. We're programmers, right? Start from square zero. And so I did that with, you name it, Codecademy. Didn't really mess with Team Treehouse, but these are things you can look up. If you're new to this, you haven't heard any of these phrases before, you don't know what I'm talking about, Codecademy is an online resource you can use to learn various aspects of programming. There's another one that is very popular called Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp is one that has a nice structured curriculum, takes you through a lot of aspects of website development, including languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I believe they have the frameworks of React and Angular. React is a framework for JavaScript, and Angular is a framework for JavaScript. And what happens with a framework is someone has gone through and made decisions on things they want JavaScript to do and written the programs for you. So all you have to learn is the syntax to access the programs they've written for you to do these things quicker or more efficiently than just writing it all out by hand in JavaScript, which would you call vanilla JavaScript. FreeCodeCamp has Angular and React. I know they have a section on algorithms, which can be very important in problem solving and definitely in interviews, depending on what kind of job you're going for. And so it's pretty comprehensive. It's very popular. I use some FreeCodeCamp. I use some Codecademy. I bought courses on a thing called Udemy, Udemy. Running joke is never pay more than $15. I don't care what the cost is. If you see one that you like, just hold on. Remember the name of it and go back and check in a few days or check in a week. It will go on sale. All Udemy courses eventually go on sale. So if you pay $175 for a course, that's on you. Everybody knows that. So I use some Udemy, Codecademy, Stack Skills, something called Stack Skills. I bought a course bundle. So the point is, I was going from one thing to the next, and I would learn so much and then skip platforms. And that was one of my biggest downfalls and one of the biggest things that prolonged me getting into this industry at all. And that is when I reached that hump, that bump, that hard part, I was blaming it on the platform, but it really wasn't. It was really me. It was really me, and that's just being straight up honest. If you're a self-taught developer, and let's say specifically a web developer, which is the only thing I can speak on. So software development, web development is a small piece of software development, and software development is as vast as the freaking universe. There are so many different ways you can get into programming. The one that I know of, the one that I enjoy, is web development specifically. Web development alone is an entire world. The languages, the frameworks, the applications. I don't care if you're talking about the Internet of Things, if you're talking about apps, mobile apps, all these types of things, desktop applications, websites, CMS, all of that is web development. So for me, there is enough variety in web development to last a few lifetimes, right? I don't need anything else. Other people don't want to deal with that. They want to, program aircraft engines or trajectories for the next, SpaceX rocket. It's totally cool. Find your niche. So yeah, when you first learn web development as a self-taught developer, you'll learn a language called HTML. You'll learn a language called CSS, and then a language called JavaScript. HTML, for the most part, is really easy. It doesn't involve a lot of logic, a lot of the core programming principles you never really run into. Same thing with CSS. CSS doesn't involve, it can, but it doesn't really involve like a whole lot of logic and a lot of iteration or data structures. You don't really deal with those things in CSS. It's more so, hey, take this part of my screen and make it black, and this part of my screen and make it white, and make this font right here this type of font because I think it looks neat, and make it this big, and then put this font this far down below it and make it this color and this big, and that's going to show it really well. So we're really looking at just the visual aspect of things. And then you hit JavaScript, and when you hit JavaScript as a self-taught developer, it is your first programming language. It is a Turing complete, Turing. It is a Turing complete programming language, right? You can do loops, you can iterate in various ways, you can save things as variables, you can access them later, you can cause programs to run and then break out of a certain pattern of string of commands. You can program with JavaScript, and it requires, or that is your beginning to computer science knowledge, like actual computer science. You don't really hit that in HTML, you don't really hit that in CSS, you hit it in JavaScript. So when I was hitting JavaScript or somewhere in that area, I was getting frustrated, getting upset, being stuck on one problem for a couple of days. That doesn't feel good at all. Nobody wants to be stuck. And so I would change platforms, and again, blame it on the instructor, oh, I want more text, I want more video, I want more this. There's a lot of excuses you can come up with. And so my 1 point, I'm not going to have 3 points. I'm not going to pull the Southern Preacher on y'all. I got 1 point to this video. If you are a beginning web developer and you are self-teaching and you're going through your coursework and you're learning your HTML and CSS and somewhere along that line, especially if it's when you hit JavaScript, but anywhere in that area, you begin to feel just frustrated. You're stuck. You're not liking it anymore. You don't know if this is for you. You know, why did you start doing this in the first place? That is where you've gotten your dip, right? There's a marketing guy named Seth Godin who wrote a book called The Dip. You should look it up. And where that applies here is that is going to be your biggest area of growth. When you get out of that dip, when you get through that hump, right, that hard part, if you stick with it right where you are, that is going to be one of your biggest areas of growth and learning, because you're going to have to dig. You might have to find a supplemental resource, but don't let the supplemental resource be a means to get you completely off track where you're starting from square zero again, right? Because that's going to delay your progress. Use a supplemental resource to figure out the thing that you're doing right now. There's nothing wrong with that. Google is your friend. StackOverflow.com is your friend. Mentors, if you can get out the house, but access the resource you need to solve your problem. But stick with it. Stay right there. Not all programming is going to be just like that. A lot of programming is you have a problem and you have no idea on the surface what to do, right? You're doing good just to define all the elements of the problem. And then from there, I'll try to go from pseudocode to actual code. So that's my encouragement to you. That's my point. But this video is Coding Paths. It's about how to get into web development in a non-traditional path. I'm 46 years old. I just got into this industry last year at 45, but I'm in web development now and I love it. And you know, I'm trying to spread the word to as many people as possible, as many people who are interested, that regardless of what your background is, if this is interesting to you, if this is something that's neat to you, if it's worth investigating, you can get a job in this industry, all right? That's all I got for now. I think I've rambled on for a long time. Sorry. Anyway, my name is Lawrence. You know me as One Syrian, and this is Coding Paths.